Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
It's actually I have in my house it's doors. Half of the doors have modern sized holes and half of them have the vintage sized doorknob holes. So I'm doing all vintage, and I bought the Baldwin adapter.
But hold on, so I can stay with us. What hardware are we talking about? Vintage and modern what?
Doorknobs.
Knobs.
Doorknob
Okay,
holes.
cool.
Yeah. So I bought the Baldwin. It's an adapter. If you want the model number, I can give you the model number. But it's like the little, the round adapter that you put in the center and the spindle goes through and it kind of screws onto itself. So I'm having problems getting that thing to fit around the latch of the door. Is that did they only work, does that Baldwin adapter only work with a Baldwin latch? Or is it supposed to fit all latches? I'm having some struggles.
Yes to the former and no to the latter. Are you talking about the 2 1/8 hole adapter?
Yes. So the model is 6502.009. That's the product.
So, yeah, that's definitely going to be intended for just Baldwin hardware.
Okay.
I don't know how mandatory the latch is, though.
Well, I can tell you my gatehouse latch that came with my house is about 1/8 of an inch too wide. It doesn't it doesn't fit on it. I've tried to force it and it's not going to fit.
You're not using a big enough hammer.
Yeah.
So the obvious question is, why don't you just switch to a Baldwin unit on that application?
A Baldwin latch?
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time finding them. Do you guys sell them?
So
my Lowe's I'm in St. Pete. I was like, oh, they're in Naples. But Lowe's and Home Depot, and I'm having a hard time finding Baldwin latches for some reason.
Well, so what type of door is this on?
Interior door.
Bedroom, bathroom, that kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got, and what sort of hardware are you trying to put on it? It's obviously not Baldwin.
No. So I got I actually bought these doorknobs from Lowe's. Because half of my doors are the vintage size, I bought all new vintage doorknobs, just like the fluted style with the spindle. So the spindle fits in the Baldwin adapter. So I do know that because I've tested that out. So right now, I think and then I have some larger, I think it's like 2 3/8 inch rosettes that I've already ordered. So I think all of this should fit. It seems right now the latch on half of my doors is the issue.
So the units that you ordered, they will not fit into a 2 1/8 inch hole? Why are you using the Baldwin adapters, the 2 1/8 inch hole adapters?
Because I have modern size doorknob, or half of my doors have modern size holes, and I'm not. Yeah, and I'm I have vintage doorknobs that.
Now, when you say vintage, do you mean stuff that's existing that took a much smaller hole?
Yeah. So it's the old 1940 glass doorknobs.
Acrylic knob, sure. I understand.
Yeah. So that's why I bought those adapters, because I had no way to get that to fit in the giant 2 1/8 inch modern size hole.
Right on. Yeah, that's not knowing the exact unit that you have. Now, when you say vintage, are these things from, 80 years ago? Or are
No,
they new stuff?
They're from Lowe's last weekend.
Okay,
But
new stuff that's
sells
meant to
them.
look
Yeah.
like that. Okay, so you bought all this hardware and it won't fit on the size of the doors the way that they're prepped now, or at least some of them. Okay.
Yeah. So, because someone had drilled, the 2 1/8 inch hole in half of the doors in my hand. I refinished all my doors. I stripped them, I stained them, and the previous owner, someone had drilled holes in half of them, and then the other half they, left that smaller size.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get some uniformity going here. So that's why I went with the vintage, the smaller spindle size instead of the new, the new modern doorknobs that have the center spindle within the two that take that larger hole.
Right. So I'm not surprised that there's incompatibility between the two.
Okay.
So
that's part of my thing is I'm wondering, is Baldwin, is their stuff just sized a little differently to where you pretty much only got to use a Baldwin latch and thing with it?
Yeah, it's like you need I'll put it into a masculine analogy. You need a starter for a car, and you got a Chevy. Well, you got to use a Chevy starter.
Yeah.
Ford is the same thing.
Okay. That's what I was starting to think last night, and I think you may have been the one who, your voice sounds very familiar. I think it was you who did the video on this that I watched on YouTube.
Definitely is me.
So it was a great video. Definitely helped me understand what I was doing a little better.
Thank you.
And it's what I called.
Yeah, so what I would, so the solutions that I see is obviously return all that stuff and start from scratch. Another option I would see is, are these doors painted?
No, I stained them.
Oh, you did say that. That's awful. That's unfortunate.
Why?
Well, because you could do what's called a Dutchman on the door, where you put wood back in there, you glue it, you clamp it, you sand it, you make it look beautiful. Then you re-drill it for the proper size hole that you need. So the previous owner, you plug all his holes and drill new holes. But the fact that you're stained, it's not going to be easy to cover that.
Yeah. That's why I found that adapter. I'm like, this adapter is perfect if I could just get the latch to work.
The other problem is the adapter. You're going to need to have uniformity with the size of the rosette, and your little rosettes on your the stuff you bought at Lowe's is not going to cover the outside diameter of that adapter.
No, I think it should, because I measured, and these I think are 2 3/8, and I'm only covering a 2 1/8. That's the diameter of the hole, so I should have like a 1/4 of an inch to work with.
Yeah.
If I measured appropriately.
Yeah, and that stuff that you bought requires, what size hole does the Lowe's material require?
The Lowe's are only the doorknobs, so that's only.
Oh, you only bought the knobs.
Yeah, I only bought the knobs from Lowe's. Yeah.
So the knobs came with a funny little spindle. Okay, and I understand.
Yeah, and that spindle fits that Baldwin adapter perfectly. I did test that out.
But but it doesn't go through the latch bolt?
No.
Okay,
the adapter to the latch bolt. Gatehouse is the company they use. It's literally like 1/8 of an inch too tall. So that's where I'm thinking I need to just find Baldwin latch, just the latches, but I'm having a really hard time finding those for some reason online. Well, either that or the places I find them, they're, it's like $100 or something for the latch, and I don't know if that's what they're supposed to be or.
Baldwin latch bolts are not inexpensive, but they're nowhere near that. And being able to purchase Baldwin latches is like getting French fries at a hot dog stand. That's going to happen. So I could definitely sell you a latch bolt, but I'm extremely hesitant to give you any false hope that spindle is going to fit through the Baldwin latch. And I have no way to know that it would or would not.
Well, I mean, if the spindle fits through the Baldwin adapter, shouldn't it also fit through the Baldwin latch?
My experience tells me that it would be an astronomical happy coincidence that it would.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because that adapter is not doing anything but providing a hole to shoot it through. When you stick it into the spindle into the latch bolt, as you know, that key stock's got to fit in there nice and tight. So what I'd like to do is just pull up a part number for the latch bolt. What is the backside? Is it 2 3/8?
What do you mean?
What is the what is the distance from the edge of the door to the center of the hole?
Oh, I don't have that measurement.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's not going to change the price very much.
Okay.
So, and these are privacy? Oh no, these are passage. Most certainly passage.
They're passage. None of them lock. Yeah, this is just passage.
What color?
So, looking at like a dark, like a black or a very dark oil rubbed bronze.
55. Okay. Okay. One. All right. Sorry, just bear with me.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
I've forgotten more part numbers than people have ever learned, so I have to look it up. So yeah, the latch bolts are not cheap. They are going to be. You're looking at about $47 for a Baldwin latch bolt. With, it sounds like I'm raining on your parade, but I would expect it not to fit.
Why are those so much more expensive than the others?
Oh,
Is it just Baldwin?
Oh, it's so high quality. Baldwin is such a great lock line. If you were, and plus, honestly, the stuff you bought is, Asian import replication kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In the old days, we sold it all the time when we were in Chicago because, well, the 20-flat apartment building was built in 1908, so that's what it's full of. I don't have any Baldwin latches here. I was going to say you could ship me your spindle and I'll test it, but I don't know of any Baldwin latches that I have laying around. I don't keep them here.
Okay.
Now, what you could do is you could look for an Omnia or an MTech version of that same thing, and it's probably going to be far less expensive, but still not inexpensive. Now,
are those different companies, Omnia and MTech?
Yeah, they're two like Asian manufactured version of. It's a lower end Baldwin. Very nice stuff, blah, blah, blah. But their material should be less, and it's not an area of specialty for us. I can order it for you. I expect a latch bolt from them is going to be about $35, would be my guess. So
size-wise, so one of those, because I need to get 3 of these, and I've already put enough money into these doors. So I'm looking for, whatever's the most economical. So are those, will that latch, the size of that latch fit within that Baldwin adapter?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know if an Omnia or an MTech would. The issue is I don't see, when you look at the adapter, it's not, I don't see why it wouldn't fit because it's not interrogating anything on the latch.
It's just the latch is just slightly too tall. It's like 1/8 of an inch. I fiddled with that thing on the door, off the door. I tried and tried and tried. It's just a little too big.
So you're saying the latch bolt you have is 1/8 of an inch too large?
Yes.
Where, in what dimension is it too large?
Too
Oh,
tall.
the height of the body. Yes, of course.
Height. It's the height of the body.
Yeah.
It's literally 1/8 of an inch too tall. It doesn't fit within the space.
Well, yeah. The bottom line is you're gonna the issue that you have is knowing whether or not the spindle that you know your knobs fit on is going to go through the latch bolt.
Okay.
Obviously, a Baldwin latch bolt is going to work with that adapter that you have. You know what? Can you tell me this?
Yeah.
Well, let me say this. The size of the Baldwin spindle is 5/16, so it's key stock basically. That's 5/16 by 5/16. So if you were to measure your existing spindle, the issue is I don't think your spindle is square. I think it's actually
It is square. No, it's square. It's square.
Okay.
To me, it looks like a perfect square.
Okay. So if you measure that, and obviously doing it with a caliper would be better. But if you feel like it's 5/16, then I'm encouraged, but not in a position where I would eliminate the possibility for it to not fit.
So I'm looking at the product on Lowe's right now. I'm looking at the specs to see. It doesn't actually give the specs of the spindle. It's just
no. You're gonna have
on
to measure
the
that
doorknob. Yeah.
You'll have to measure your actual hardware.
Okay. So, what's the size of the spindle that you're hoping?
5/16.
5/16.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, the Baldwin latch bolt will take a 5/16 spindle, or at least something, 0.31 to whatever kind of size.
So what I can do is when I go home, I'm at work right now, but I can go home and do my best measurement. And if it looks like it's in that ballpark, then I may be giving you a call back tomorrow to order some of these.
Yeah, I would encourage that you order one.
Okay.
So you can
Just to
try
test
it.
out.
Somewhere here I've got mortise lock bodies. I just have no idea where they are, and it's not inventory that I stock here. It's from a project that I did personally, and I've got my spare parts box here, but I couldn't tell you where I put it.
Okay.
I have no idea where it is.
That mortise lock body, and so that's kind of the other thing I've been looking. For these, I lucked out when I did these doors, and my bathroom, in the bathroom of this, that has the old vintage doorknob, the original 1940 vintage doorknob. And the rosette, and I'd hoped to find these for my bedrooms, and I can't for the life of me. The rosette has like a little latch that slides right and left, and there's no information on it, just says patent pending, from 85 years ago. And when that latch slides, it basically, because those spindles have the little grooves, so it hits in a groove and it stops it from turning, and that's how it locks the door.
Yeah, it's got a tang in the edge of the outside circumference.
Yeah, and I was hoping to find those for the 2 bedrooms, and I don't know that those exist anymore. Are you familiar with where you could find, someone may be able to find those? Because like I said, I looked at it. I have one for my bathroom, but I don't have them for the bedroom, and I don't have a separate lock for those there's no hole for a separate lock for them.
Yeah, so obviously the online flea markets of the world. But the answer is me if the company that used to make them still makes them. And I'm pulling up the book now.
There's no company name on it.
No, not on yours. But
okay.
But if you walked in and said, "Hey, I need one of these privacy sets from 1940 40.
Yeah, because I was hoping I could, find any. It's like, yeah, I know I'm looking 80 years old, but there's like like I don't even know what to call this. It's just like a rosette with a little thing that slides and locks it, and and all I know is its patent was pending when it was made and installed on my door.
Yeah. And I'm scrolling through one of my old catalogs to see. All right. Replacement spindle. Uh-huh. Okay. So what they made, all those, what I would have had at one point were only passage functions.
Okay.
Obviously I've seen what you're describing because I can describe it.
Yeah.
I would look on I'd get online and look on the eBays of the world.
Yeah, I've been searching and I haven't found it. Some of them I've seen have the little push button on the rosette. Some I've seen different things, but I haven't seen this one particular. It's very weird, but I'll keep searching. And that's great. So I'll go home and measure the spindle, and then I'll look for that 5/16 and see if that would work.
Yes. Yes. Vintage privacy set would be a term that I would use to search. And as I'm scrolling through here, I don't see any of those. But my God, there are locks on here that if you had to pay full price for.
It's hot. It's steep.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I don't know. Didn't make it any worse. I'd like to have, got a 3-pointer in for you, but check that out. It would be really nice that you didn't have to buy one to experiment, but I don't know of, if there's a decorative hardware showroom somewhere in your area, you might be able to walk in and say, man, would you stick this in there and see if it fits?
Okay.
So,
yeah, that's another option.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. This was really helpful, very informative for me.
I'm glad that you called. My name is Richard. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Richard. Have a good day.
You too. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.